Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome back to the deep dive. You've sent us a stack of sources on a breaking news story that it sounds ripped straight from a spy thriller.
It really does.
And our job today is to, cut through some of that noise and figure out what's actually happening. We are diving deep into a recent, very high-profile cybersecurity claim. It's been branded the BB-Gate breach. It involves a major geopolitical hotspot, a very senior government official, and a very loud threat. Our mission for you, the listener, is sort of threefold. First, we're going to nail down the core facts of this alleged breach.
What's actually being claimed.
Exactly. Second, we'll investigate the official response, the counter-narrative. And third, and this is the most important part, we want to equip you with the essential toolkit that cybersecurity experts use.
How to think about these things.
Right. How do you interpret these highly politically charged claims? Is this truly a devastating intelligence coup, or is the strategic value found somewhere else entirely?
A very important question.
So let's start with the claim itself. The sources identify the group making the threat as Handala.
Or sometimes you'll see it online as Hanzala with a Z.
Okay. And they're described as a cyber organization linked to Iran, and their target was Sachi Braverman.
And that name is key. Sachi Braverman is not a low-level target.
Not at all.
He serves as Prime Minister Netanyahu's chief of staff, which immediately catapults this claim into, really high-stakes territory.
And the gravity of the claim is that they allegedly breached his mobile phone.
His personal phone. Not just an email account, the actual device.
The device that is likely glued to his hand 24/7. And the group, they didn't mince words about what they supposedly got, did they?
No, they were very specific. They claimed contacts, confidential documents, photos, chat histories, the works.
And then came the name and the threat. They vowed to publish this mountain of data, calling the whole operation BB-Gate.
And that name, that branding, is so critical.
Why is that?
Because it immediately signals a political intent. It's meant to evoke this historical sense of scandal, of government chaos. This is where the narrative immediately fractures into, claim versus denial.
Right.
When a bombastic, high-profile claim like this drops, we have to immediately introduce a heavy dose of skepticism.
But that initial drama is designed to bypass that, isn't it? The idea that a senior official's phone, his entire digital life, has been scooped up. That's headline gold.
It's pure headline gold.
Yeah.
But we have to look at the immediate, measured response.
So what was that response from the targeted government?
The official counter-narrative was, it was swift, but also very cautious. The Israeli government stated publicly that, as of now, no confirmed breach has been found.
No confirmed breach.
Keywords. They confirm an investigation is underway, but they stop well short of confirming the hackers' claims are valid.
So this is a crucial first distinction, then.
It is. You have a very loud, very public threat from a, let's say, loosely aligned group. And that's met with a quiet institutional confirmation of an investigation, but an institutional denial of technical success.
So the government is essentially saying, we're looking, but we haven't seen the evidence. But for the average person reading the headlines, they're left with the shock of BB-Gate.
Exactly. And this is why seasoned cybersecurity analysts just preach caution. They emphasize that these self-claimed hacks, they're often wildly exaggerated.
You are completely unverified.
Completely unverified, especially when it comes to assessing true strategic damage. The immediate assumption should never be that a massive intelligence coup has happened just because the claim is loud.
That sets up the core tension we really need to explore here. Are we genuinely witnessing deep cover strategic espionage, or is this primarily a tool of psychological warfare?
That is the dividing line. And analysts, they rarely assess these politically motivated claims as purely intelligence-gathering missions.
So the hack itself might be secondary.
Often, it's totally secondary to the political chaos that's generated by the claim of the hack.
Okay.
If we connect this back to the bigger picture, operations linked to Iran are frequently calibrated for maximum psychological impact. The goal is to shape internal narratives, generate mistrust,
And cause political turbulence.
widespread political turbulence. They are aiming for soft targets, public confidence, political stability, not necessarily the hard, secret data.
So if the ultimate output is destabilization, what does their playbook usually look like? If they aren't achieving those, say, Stuxnet-level surgical strikes, what kind of digital tactics are they actually using?
Right, that's a great question. Research into the historical patterns suggests they favor what we call lower-tier, high-return tactics.
Okay, let's define some of those terms for the listener.
Sure. So we're talking about basic phishing. where they trick someone into giving up their password. Credential harvesting, which is just collecting thousands of usernames and passwords from other data breaches. Website defacements, where they just slap a political message on a visible site.
And I'm guessing social engineering is in there too.
Oh, absolutely. Social engineering, which is just manipulating people into giving up information.
So it sounds like they're focusing on the weakest link, which is almost always human error rather than, spending millions on some fancy zero-day exploit.
Precisely. And in this regional context, these tactics are highly effective for disruption and for propaganda. They fall well short of truly deep, sophisticated network penetrations.
The kind that would give you, what, classified military blueprints or something?
Exactly. The kind of intelligence that could actually win war. Many of these high-profile claims, like accessing a chief of staff's phone, often turn out to stem from, say, successful social engineering or accessing a poorly secured cloud backup.
Which is disruptive and personally invasive.
Immensely invasive. But it doesn't signify a strategic breach of national security infrastructure.
It sounds less like a quiet infiltration and more like the digital equivalent of a very loud public protest.
That analogy holds up really well.
It's designed simply to be seen, to be heard, and to cause maximum embarrassment.
Exactly. And it forces us to recognize that this alleged breach, it's not happening in a vacuum. It's just the latest volley in a long, ongoing cyber conflict between Israel and Iran. This is a perpetual digital tension.
So how do experts categorize this kind of persistent, low-level conflict? You mentioned earlier that these operations often appear below the threshold. What does that actually look like?
When we say below the threshold, we mean they aren't generally achieving, sustained, deep, or crippling access to critical national infrastructure.
Things like power grids, water treatment plants.
The highest levels of military command and control.
Exactly.
Instead, a huge portion of these activities are classified as information operations, or IO, which means the primary mission is political. Propaganda, intimidation, destabilization, all using digital means. They're using cyber tools to further political goals through fear, not through intelligence gathering.
So the goal isn't necessarily to steal a strategic defense document. It's to erode the trust the public has in the official who's supposed to protect that document.
You've got it. And historical research bears this out. If you look at past spikes in conflict tied to Middle East tensions, the volume of activity is really high, but the sophistication
It's low.
is often very low. We see huge amounts of distributed denial of service or DDoS attacks.
Okay, let's pause quickly there for the listener. What is a DDoS attack?
Think of it as a massive digital traffic jam. You're just overwhelming a server or a website with so much junk traffic from thousands of sources that it gets knocked offline.
So it's noisy and disruptive.
Very noisy, very disruptive, but not strategically crippling in the long term. And this pattern, DDoS, mass phishing, low-level defacements, it helps us contextualize the BB-Gate claim. It potentially follows that familiar script.
This analysis is a perfect bridge, then, to the most actionable part of our deep dive. The actual framework that specialists use to filter the signal from the noise. If someone listening encounters a claim like this tomorrow, how should they assess it?
This is your essential framework, and it helps you move right past the initial shock. Specialists focus on 3 distinct areas of scrutiny.
Okay, what's number 1?
Number 1 is attribution. We have to ask, is the hacking definitively and technically tied to an actual Iranian state actor, a unit reporting to their government?
Or is it just a loosely aligned group like Handala acting on their own?
Exactly, acting semi-independently, maybe with some tacit approval, but not under direct command and control.
That distinction is monumental, isn't it?
It changes the entire geopolitical interpretation. A state actor implies strategic coordination, an affiliate that implies opportunistic disruption.
Okay, so that's attribution. What's the second question specialists ask?
The second question is about impact. We have to evaluate the spectrum of data that was supposedly accessed.
So, was it truly confidential, strategic, classified data, like a military deployment strategy?
Or is the information more public-facing, low value, or designed primarily to cause personal embarrassment and political friction?
So we need to look past the drama of mobile phone accessed and really evaluate the sensitivity of the material itself. If they release personal chats or, compromising photos, that's damaging to the official.
Very damaging to the official. But is it damaging to the state? That's the question. If they release information that could have been obtained by, say, tricking someone into giving up their personal iCloud password, the strategic impact is minimal.
Even if the personal and political fallout are immense.
Right. The goal is to maximize political cost with minimal intelligence gain.
And that brings us to the third pillar.
The third, and honestly the most challenging pillar, verification. Is there independent technical analysis confirming the breach?
So not just the hacker's claim or the government's denial.
Absolutely not. This confirmation has to come from reputable third parties, major security firms, national cyber defense bodies, someone who can actually look at the forensic evidence.
The independent look at the server logs, that's the real linchpin.
It is. If the government denies it, and the hackers offer no proof beyond, say, a screenshot that could be faked, the claim is, from a strategic perspective, unproven.
And the synthesis of these findings based on the sources you've sent us.
It is that the strategic significance of these individual claims is often impossible to gauge until that independent verification happens. And in so many of these politically charged cases, the governments deny it. And that external verification, it just remains maddeningly elusive.
So bringing this all together for you, the listener, the initial headline about the BB-Gate breach is alarming. It's alarming because of who is targeted, Dachi Braverman.
It is absolutely engineered to be alarming. And experts are urging strong caution, strong contextualization. They view this specific episode with its loud threats, its lack of hard proofs, its focus on drama,
As a classic instance of information warfare.
primarily as an instance of psychological and information warfare, yes. It seems designed specifically to create political friction and erode confidence, rather than signaling some dramatic, successful, state-level cyber-espionage victory. The evidence points toward narrative shaping.
And that's the valuable takeaway for you, the listener. So if the true strategic goal is psychological impact, if the political damage is done the moment the claim hits the news, what does that imply about the strategic value of the claim itself?
It raises a really powerful question for you to mull over long after this deep dive ends.
Which is?
If the act of publicly claiming a successful high-profile hack is more strategically valuable than any actual classified material you might acquire, what level of information operation, the rumor, the uncertainty, the denial, is truly the hardest thing for a modern government to defend against?
It's not just defending the code anymore.
It's defending public confidence, and that's a much harder thing to patch.